Here we go. How to build a movie studio or how to ruin a career in Hollywood. Episode 2. Scheduling some interviews, so I'm going to do another rant today. A fun one, a big one. Something that scared the shit out of me and is wildly overambitious, but that made it exciting to write. I got my daughter's sunglasses, my Zins, and I got a medieval dagger today. It's my supplies. When people ask me what I do for a living, I have to pause before answering. Our creative landscape exists in a constant state of flux, so my roles change with it. But if I had to distill my entire creative career down to a clear character arc, it would be this. I used to be a creative explorer. Now I'm becoming a creative architect. Someone who combines their deep love of story structure with a wide array of work experience to help design better systems and strategies for storytellers. How and where to launch, scale, and distribute original ideas. Instead of mastering one skill like a Jedi, I took the Han Solo mercenary route. Said yes to every opportunity in pretty much every genre and format, then either figured it out on the fly or fell flat on my face and accepted the blame for failing. No problem doing that. I have wins, losses, and wisdom from the trenches in almost every industry. Events, legacy, self-publishing, advertising, television, film, branding, coaching, audio dramas, scaling companies and creative communities, even planned a few IRL treasure hunts on Reddit that went viral. The first project I sold ever in my career, in my mid-20s, it was a book of theme party ideas to Adams Media. And the last big project I sold was a family-friendly show to the Mormons at BYU TV. That fucking looks bizarre on a resume, but it makes sense if you know me. Being a just rush in and attack Leroy Jenkins explorer for the last 2 decades has given me a pretty decent grasp of our entire story landscape. So I believe most creative projects seek the same goal: deliver an emotional impact. But the methods of delivering those exchanges have increased exponentially, while our basic understanding of story structure is decreasing drastically. I also believe that most creative people seek the same goal: how to build a sustainable 6 figures career. But the days of us just doing one thing are over. We all have to diversify our creative outlets and find new ways to generate income and opportunities. So my goal with this episode, the State of the Creative Union, is to start creating a shared map of the story market so we can start having realistic discussions about where we go from here. So here goes. My wildly overambitious, scared the shit out of me essay that's going to be posted on Substack, titled My 2025 State of the Creative Union Address. Here we go. Deep breath. I'm still not good on camera, but you gotta fucking do it. To all of my fellow storytellers and story lovers, the yogis believe that our consciousness evolves in 7-year cycles, and the last 7 years, 2017 to 2024, may have been a de-evolution, not only in our creativity, but with our collective consciousness as well. It's been such an insane ride that it may have taken 7 years off the back end of our lives. Your classic hope to hate story arc. This culture war content era has felt like waking up on a roller coaster with Clockwork Orange clamps on your face, making sure you can't look away. Before you can figure out what the fuck is going on, you get strapped into a seat around everyone you hate from your high school, and you all get hurtled at Star Wars lightspeed out of the present day and into a dystopian future. Oh, and everyone on this roller coaster has food poisoning from shellfish and is numbed out on big pharma Skittles. So there's just missiles of Mach speed vomit flying from the front of the train and just Jackson Pollocking you and everyone else behind you. Your exposed eyeballs are just burning with other people's bile as entire months pass by in what feels like minutes. No time to reflect on the bigger picture. All you can do is pay it backward. If you got puked on during this ride, make sure you get sick on someone behind you. The last 7 years has felt like a wild ride through a Pandora's box theme park. We're all strapped in, unable to look away, as the primordial currents of our past, present, and future went to war. E.O. Wilson, great writer, once said, "The problem with humanity is that we have primitive brains, medieval institutions, and godlike technology." So we got monkey brains with governments that treat us like peasants and devices in our pocket that make us feel like gods. That is fucked up. That is why we're all fucked up. That exact equation. In 7 years, we went from Me Too to Trump 2, peak TV to trough TV, Wonder Woman to What is a Woman? Meanwhile, the big three of network TV, ABC, NBC, CBS, have been replaced with the new big three of streaming, Netflix, Amazon, and Disney. New media finally grew up in 2024, grabbed the wrists of its abusive and condescending older sibling, legacy media, and proceeded to deliver a sit the fuck down and shut up bitch slap. The road to the White House now goes through podcasts. HBO, the golden child of TV, has been abandoned and neglected in a series of vicious divorces and custody battles. I don't even know who owns it anymore. HBO will need years of therapy to heal its trauma. Meanwhile, TV writers don't make enough money on the streamers to get managers to pay attention to them, return their emails, or sign them. So we've all been abandoned too. But unfortunately, these days, the EP to staff writer ratios on most TV shows resemble a 4-hour uncut gangbang on Pornhub. Not cool. Every network and streamer creates cool new mandates and exciting new TV projects to target the coveted Gen Z market, but Gen Z prefers to just stay the fuck home and watch Friends reruns. They're rejecting all the shows specifically tailored to them. The Oscars, a once meaningful cultural institution, fully jumped the shark on the night of the slap, and it will never recover its reputation or viewership. It's already starting to feel like a relic of the past, like telethons, Soul Train reruns, or Suzanne Summers infomercials. Netflix, the great Hollywood disruptor, went full Two-Face from Dark Knight and probably lived long enough to see themselves become the villains. The writers of Suits had just put their reruns on YouTube. They would have made well over $1 million in royalties instead of their $3,000 corporate welfare checks. Disney had a Succession-like saga where the heirs doubled down on a new identity, then unfortunately had to bring back Daddy Dinosaur to help them right the ship. Musicians are canceling tours because they're almost dying from exhaustion. They're getting A-framed by Spotify and Live Nation. If they don't figure out how to make the Sinaloa cartel a permanent brand sponsor, they might not be able to keep up with that pace of performing. Spotify's quest to move fast and buttfuck artists didn't just stop at music. Now they're giving everyone's books away for a premium subscription fee, audiobooks. But seriously, how do authors make money these days? I think only one of them did this year. A dead one. The only good thing that has come out of the Rings of Power is that the Tolkien estate finally got paid up front, without the need for a big, lengthy lawsuit. We all know that New Line only paid them $62,500 for the rights to make the OG trilogy. How funny is it to think about both of those parties negotiating over the last $500? Like, why that sum? It's so weird and funny. And Hollywood is so ruthless. Meanwhile, the Marvel tumor has spread, infecting tons of blockbusters with its tone and writing style. Thanks to dorky fake feminist scumbags like Joss Whedon, now every movie character sounds like a cynical, hyper self-aware Daily Show host. Thanks, Josh. But thankfully, Tom Cruise is still holding down the Ernest front. You fucking rock, TC. Thank you for keeping movies alive. Speaking of movies, and all of the overly complicated legacy media articles on the death of the box office, is it really that complicated? Or is it as simple as there's more fucking entertaining ways for young people to spend their time? Imagine this scenario. An ADHD teenage boy has a choice to sit in a musty movie theater full of weird strangers to watch a watered-down PG-13 superhero movie with extremely shitty CGI, or he can stay at home in his comfy gaming chair that doesn't smell like an exploded diabetic foot, playing an MMO game with infinitely better graphics, while sniping his best friends in the head, while they're all talking shit to each other, while they're all feeding fappening links and slightly racist memes to each other, while ordering gut bombs on Uber Eats. Venom: The Last Dance has no chance in that fight for attention. Lots of things killed blockbuster movies and the box office, but making every blockbuster movie look like shittier versions of video games is a fucking obvious one. Why watch it when you can play it at home? And as all of this is happening over the last 7 years, by 2020, the neckbeards and nerds who make video games quietly conquered the entire creative landscape and scaled their industry to become 4 times larger than film, TV, and music combined. I think those numbers are right. I try to look it up. I'm not good at math, but it's close. Point being, the battle is over. Video games won, and we live in their story realm now. Our attention spans have already been possessed by the 6-inch portals to hell that live in our pockets, and AR, VR, and AI are right on the fucking horizon, perfecting their addictive features and ready to fight over what's left of our mashed potato brains. So, where do we go from here? When unfiltered text threads with your best friends are funnier than most of the comedy shows being made, people are going to stop watching sitcoms. When stories made by the megacorps are scared to address the very real problems plaguing us all now, and they keep feeding us the same boilerplate, just believe in yourself or work together themes, we are going to turn to podcasts to find voices who will walk through these uncomfortable issues with us. When movie marketing campaigns are driven by shame-based motivations, people are going to ignore you because you do not make them feel good. So I'm obviously focusing on the negatives here to make this entertaining and Black Mirror-y, but there have been a lot of positives over the last 7 years. Rise of A24 and indie movies, foreign TV is kicking ass, and the battle of micro versus macro culture was a David and Goliath situation, but now it's turning into an equal fight. It was really cool to see that come together at the end of 2024. So that's a romp through all the macro level bullshit. But some of you watching this wonky-eyed writer rant still want to be professional storytellers. So let's discuss the current obstacles blocking you from getting your stories made. The big 3, in my opinion, are scared gatekeepers, the cult of celebrity, and all of these predatory platforms. Let's dive in. In the old gatekeeper model of creative development, creative industries had very clear steps for projects to scale successfully. Think of it like climbing the pyramid on a dollar bill, the Illuminati sign, to plug your creative project into the all-seeing eye that could then broadcast it out to the world. Unaired pilots were tested first before getting picked up. Everyone on the different levels of the pyramid had clear roles and areas of expertise. Movie stars didn't do TV. Feature writers didn't write TV pilots. The PR machine relied on commercials, billboards, and late-night talk shows. And sure, getting a project to the top of that pyramid was a ruthless climb full of big egos and little backstabbing cretins, but it was also kind of nice. Everyone involved had an instruction manual to follow. That created a shared understanding and a map of every project, but that's all gone. The internet has turned our entire creative economy into a Gordian knot. There's no more rules, roles, or roadmaps. Everyone does a bit of everything. The mediums and genres have all blended together. Everything is connected to everyone during every part of the process. That's how the internet works. And if you drop your project in that mutating portal, that Gordian knot, no one can predict if it's going to cause a race riot on Reddit or spawn 6 sequels and a spin-off. The beauty and the chaos of an internet-driven creative culture is that we can't control it. The Gordian knot decides your fate now, not the gatekeepers. Now, the gatekeepers had a great run as the curators of culture from post-World War II to Trump 2, but their reign is coming to an end. The internet has completely restructured not just all of our creative industries, but our entire society. There's a reason the bloated crap that Hollywood is pumping out is not resonating with anyone. Hollywood, the big record labels, and the big publishing companies in New York are structured like top-down hierarchies that create a pyramid of vertical relationships between the companies, the creators, and the consumers. It's the superiority complex from the top down that created an inferiority complex and a lot of anger that came back from the bottom up. But the Gordian knot economy doesn't create vertical relationships. It creates horizontal relationships. The internet is a tangled mess of humans, ideas, and imagination where everything and everyone is somewhat equal but not the same. Or if anyone has traveled through Southeast Asia, Thailand, Vietnam, they have a saying there. They say, same, but different. That's exactly what it is. That's what the internet makes us feel. So we no longer want our education, entertainment, and enlightenment from these entrenched gatekeepers and established authority figures who are standing on our heads in this hierarchy and talking down to us. What we really want is messy authenticity and hard truths from our interconnected peers. Seriously, what would 4 years of film school cost these days? 150 grand? I could design a better curriculum for a film student that would consist of mostly free shit. YouTube video essays from DIY filmmakers, courses from creators, and audiobooks on Audible and Spotify, and a bunch of Substack accounts. In 1 year, for less than $1,000, me personally, could give them a better education than a 4-year film school in a fraction of the amount of time. Because I would be guiding them as a peer, not teaching, talking down to them like a professor. We've moved to a horizontal structure, but the old institutions haven't. I'm going to hone in on Hollywood here for a second as my primary example, because it's my old industry and I know it the best, but I'm sure this is the same in every creative industry. The mindset that helped them construct their pyramid in the first place is the same mindset that will be their downfall. We know what's best for you. Started as a virtue, then became their vice. The Greeks call that your nemesis. The thing that makes you special also holds the seed of your destruction. Hollywood is failing because a small group of people at the tippy top of the pyramid are still making decisions on the old top-down model, trying to broadcast their ideas to the masses at the bottom of the pyramid. But their egos are now guiding the decisions, not their ears. They stopped listening to us. There's no real feedback loop or communication between the suppliers at the top and the demanders at the bottom. That has become very apparent over the last 7 years. They have stopped listening. We're in the Gordian knot, and they're still living in the pyramids, and the pyramids are falling apart. But they've been able to hold on to this cultural influence for a very long time because they had a monopoly on the most valuable resource, the cult of celebrity. But toxic combo of bad COVID reactions, contentious election cycles, the growing economic gap, the Eat the Rich movement, and the rise of insufferable actor-activists has stuck a giant dagger into the celebrity bounce house, and it's slowly deflating. recent string of celebrity scandals might end up being the tipping point. The absolutely disgusting and revolting "It Ends With Us" narrative warfare fiasco could end up being the end of the end for them. Celebrities, that is. We no longer want to be told what to do by people who are literally famous for being told exactly what to do. It blows my mind that we actually turn to actors for any type of advice when they are told to do what to do and what to say on every single project. Yet, if you're a writer trying to get a project made right now, all of the big industries are still clinging to this outdated metric of celebrity name recognition. Too many great projects in this current market stall out when the gatekeepers send you on a quest to find a famous unicorn. I don't know if people have heard that term, but let me explain. Say you want to make a more thoughtful and scripted show or a docuseries. Even if the company loves your idea, they're going to tell you to come back once you've got a big celebrity attached to be the host or to do the voiceover. I pitched a family-centric treasure hunt show to networks, and they said they would be interested in developing it if I got someone like Miley Cyrus to host it. Why the fuck would a childless pop star want to host Goonies treasure hunts for families? That is the inbred level of idiocy that you are dealing with the gatekeepers who still live inside the pyramids. You want to make a big movie? Well, they actually don't have money to make it, but they're going to tell you to go get The Rock on board so they can pre-sell the distribution rights to other countries, and then they will give you the money to make a big movie. So just go get The Rock. Say you want to make a big budget genre-heavy prestige TV show. Just bringing a script to that pitch meeting will get you laughed out of the room. You need pre-existing IP and a big, borderline rabid fan base like the Howlers from the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown. So to make that show, you got to write a book series first and just carve out a decade of your life and get started. You can self-publish like Hugh Howey did with the Silo series, or you can court one of the legacy publishers. And good luck finding a lit agent to rep a first-time author. You're going to get 7 to 10K advance. You're going to make a quarter to 50 cents on every hard copy sale, and you'll have to sell tens of thousands of copies to pay off a year of rent. The legacy publishing deals are just as broken as the streaming deals for writers. I stopped pursuing them. I want to write books eventually, but I stopped because it's not even worth your time until I figure out how to build a platform. But let's say you find an agent. That New York publishing house is going to say the exact same thing the LA gatekeeper tells you. We'll publish your book if you can get a big celebrity to write the foreword, and then we need 6 other famous authors to write the blurbs. I had to self-publish 2 action novels because I could not get past this gatekeeper-given quest. And they also told me that men don't read, which is partially true. They told me to write a book for 40-year-old women. By the way, if you want to understand the debate between legacy and self-publishing, read Be the Monkey by Barry Eisler. He's on Substack, and I think the ebook is free. And there are new leaders in companies like Madeline McIntosh at Authors Equity rising up to reform these broken publishing models. The big point I'm getting to is this. In most of the legacy media businesses, from books to blockbusters, the decisions being made by the gatekeepers are not based on actual creativity, but the celebrity attached to the creative project. As a result, an armada of talentless, tone-deaf celebrities and their army of feckless executive lackeys have monopolized most of the legacy media deals. When name recognition is the core metric for decision-making, not story, we get this culture of meh that we're in. When you know about everything coming out, but nothing really gets inside of you. It's celebrity runoff with no real impact. It worked when they were paying us well to make their shitty stuff, but now they're not even doing that. My fee for a streaming movie deal was a one-time upfront fee for $65,000. Split between my writing partner and I and divvied out to all of our reps and lawyers. Sure, a lot of people might have seen it if it had gotten made, but that would have only led to more deals that look just like that. It is not sustainable. The money isn't there anymore, upfront or on the back end, unless you're a huge A-list writer or showrunner. The top-down creative culture has gone from stagnant to malignant, and the cult of celebrity is slowly dying. Seriously, what can they really offer you now besides making you famous? Not a lot. And if you were famous, you'd still have to find new ways to monetize your newfound fame, because they're not going to make money for it. Put simply, the internet has destroyed their monopoly on talent, and we no longer trust their taste. If we're all seeing more talented people online, performers not being featured in their projects, we're going to grow even more disdainful of their casting choices being forced upon us. We, all of the peers collaborating in this Gordian knot, get to choose who gets illuminated and what gets widely distributed, not the pyramid dwellers. The age of experts is over, from journalism to making movies, and the next era of creators will speak to their audience as peers, not peons to be manipulated. Now, they held up their cult of celebrity with lavish spectacles, prestigious award ceremonies, and a well-oiled PR machine. And for a very long time, we adored them like American royalty. Many of us writers dedicated our lives to accessing their inner sanctum, earning their praise, and becoming a part of this cult. I might have been one of them. But if seeking their praise is your motivation to create, or your secret motivation, you're living by their values and your stories will conform to their mandates. That definitely happened to me. So the next era of storytellers should start aligning to a new motivation. Not public praise, but private thank yous. A weird example here, but when I was younger and starting my writing and networking journey in LA, I didn't have money to go out to network at trendy bars and nice restaurants. So I used to plan these immersive but scrappy, inexpensive theme parties and costume parties where everyone had to fully commit and stay in character while wearing a costume. I can't tell you how many private, heartfelt thank yous I got just by creating a place where people could drop their cool masks and just be weird and fully present for a few hours. No reviews or awards, just voicemails and emails saying, thank you. I fucking needed that. And we need the next era of creativity to trigger those profoundly moving private thank you messages. Thank you for having the courage and the grit to tell this story, to write this book, or to produce this song. These are projects aligned to the real needs of our peers and nothing else. Someone has to start this movement, and it might as well be you, whoever's listening to this right now. The jobs are gone. The playing field has been leveled for everyone, and every single genre and format in our landscape is wildly oversaturated. In the age of infinite content living in this Gordian knot, how do we carve out a small territory for ourselves that then opens up new pathways and new connections? In my opinion, if you want your story to deliver an emotional impact in this landscape, you have three options. Number one, do what no one else is doing. Number two, say what no one else is saying. Number three, master an emerging medium and infuse it with timeless story structure. The double-edged sword of technology is simultaneously expanding and consolidating our creative landscape, creating new formats for us to explore and experiment with, while also hovering above the head of everyone holding on to a stable creative job right now. Like Sean Bean in the opening of Game of Thrones. In my opinion, if you want to build a sustainable creative career in this landscape, you have three options. Number one, you can build your own platform and build a stockpile of social capital. I think as the cult of celebrity was the primary resource of the last creative economy, I think social capital and trust will be the primary resource of the next one. Number two, you can take the Cal Newport slow productivity approach and go all in on your best idea. Take time doing it. Focus on creating, scaling, and owning one piece of IP, a perennial seller with franchise potential, not a topical or trendy story for the content roller coaster. We can't keep up with it anymore. Number 3, you can become a new media marketing maven, someone who knows how to guide a project from ideation to distribution, gathering new fans all along the way, and optimizing every step of the creative process. I personally think this is what talent managers will become in the next landscape, a hybrid of story consultant, co-producer, and creative strategist. Think Robert McKee meets Don Draper. Someone will get a flat fee up front, and you'll pay them to stay along for the whole project, and they might get 10, 15 points on their back end. But marketing in macro and micro cultures is just as important as the product. So you can become a new media marketing maven. Or you can stop fighting the attention economy and start showing us your butthole. OnlyFans does have more global subscribers than Netflix. I can't help it. I gotta work in a butthole joke for every one of these rants. But jokes aside, let's drill this down to the one major dilemma facing all of us storytellers in this landscape. Most artists in today's legacy industries cannot make enough money making big projects on the big platforms because there is no back end or real ownership in those deals. Like the Great Resets, you will own nothing and be happy mantra. And on the flip side of this dilemma, most of us cannot afford the big marketing budgets or the full-time new media marketing mavens needed to make our indie projects, the ones that we do own. We can't afford to make them stand out in a sea of content because we don't have those marketing budgets. You can make minimum wage on the assembly line of an industrial pie factory or charge full price and sell dozens of homemade pies at your local farmers markets. Those are the choices facing us right now. The old climb up the pyramid is not worth your time, and the new paths are not fully formed. So the communities and the customer bases are not aggregated around those new paths yet. That major dilemma, being stuck between those two shitty options, leaves most of us storytellers in a wasteland between paradigms. However, the chaos of this landscape is going to destroy low-trust legacy media companies, leave a macro culture power vacuum in its wake, then create huge opportunities for writers and creators who can aggregate new active communities around high-trust companies and collectives. Financially transparent, creator-owned platforms like Image Comics. Companies that don't interfere with the creative process, but offer their stamp of approval and a marketing platform and a community to access for far less ownership. So if you're a writer, screenwriter, storyteller reading this, please hold on. New systems and strategies for storytellers are on the horizon, but the legacy media pyramids have to fully consolidate and then fall apart and crumble before we can reconsolidate around more horizontally structured companies and collectives. I want to be a part of those conversations around the future of our creative architecture. And you should be writing, thinking, creating, and positioning yourself to be a part of those discussions as well. There's so much of that happening on Substack, and if you don't have an account, I encourage you to jump in. I'm seeing new people talking about this every single day. There's a great Viking rune quote that has been my mantra for the last year. I named my daughter after the Viking runes. Her name's Runa, which means secret lore, mythology. But the Viking quote goes like this: if you want change, you have to invite chaos. That's what's happening to our creative landscape right now. Real change is coming, but we got to embrace the chaos first. Now, I can't really give good practical career advice in this kind of chaos, but I will offer you a simple challenge or call to action. Make space. Make space in your life to think deeper. Quit whatever is distracting you from long walks, deep talks, and big picture thinking. And be ruthless about it, or you will miss out on these conversations. Remember, creativity is just making a connection between things that did not exist before, then putting your own personal stink on it. All of the things that we need are already online, waiting for a plan, waiting to be assembled into a new structure. Everyone from actors to authors, comic book artists to film composers. A lot of them are not working. Most of them are very talented. So how do we use the next 7 years to make these new connections and put our own spin on it? How do we find a way to reassemble all of these scattered people and pieces into a more sustainable creative landscape? A creative economy where we actually own our own shit. That's it. That's all I got for today. Don't know how to end it, so I'll just say, see you later, dildos.